To paraphrase, he was saying, the China-Japan relationship is important, and he hopes the two countries will find ways to resolve these very complex issues and move forward.
I was quite surprised that PM Wong would make these comments on such a charged issue at such a time as well, right? When the wound is still so raw. But there are people who have gone through a lot worse political crises in their lives that led to the genocide, essentially, right? And we can't claim to speak for them to just say, hey, you should just take the practical route and move on from the past. How will they take that, right? If it came from a Singaporean who has not experienced that before. And I would never be able to go to an older Singaporean and say, yeah, you all should just move on and just eat some sushi.
You try this sushi, damn shiok.
Sushi roll.
The matcha also. Fucking matcha, damn shiok.
I love it, man. Let me show you some sushi train restaurant.
Are you thinking of renewing your car insurance soon? Perfect, because I've got a tip just for you. If you're a safe driver, DirectAsia might be just the thing you're looking for. Because firstly, they reward safe driving. In fact, they're the only insurer in Singapore that gives you up to 60% off your premium if you've had a no claims discount, also known as NCD 50, for 5 years straight. Secondly, their coverage is fully customizable. If you want 24-hour breakdown assistance, just add it in. Don't want it? Just leave it out. Everything's done online, super quick and hassle-free. And if you sign up for comprehensive car insurance now, you'll get $150 in 𝗬𝗵𝗶𝗀 vouchers. This offer is for a limited time only, so now's a great time to switch. Just head to directasia.com today and see how much you could save. The link is in the show notes. And now, on to the podcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 𝗖𝗲𝗏, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terrence?
Good old humor.
Good old humor, man.
Yeah.
How fully settled back in Singapore?
Barely.
Barely.
Now already have to start contemplating our next trip out of Singapore.
What a tease.
Yes.
Do tell, Terrence. What's on the cards, man?
𝗖𝗲𝗏 x London.
Oh.
Yeah. So 𝗖𝗲𝗏 is going to be in London.
Yeah.
Next week, right?
Yeah. Not next year.
Yeah, not
next month. Next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
And they were announcing it to the world for the first time.
Yeah.
𝗖𝗲𝗏, we're taking 𝗖𝗏𝗏 out of the studio here in Singapore.
Yeah.
And bringing it to London.
Yeah. Because we are going to be there for a week. We are going to be meeting some interesting people. We're going to be filming a lot of stuff, and you will catch wind of like what exactly we're going to be filming. But we also are going to be doing a live recording, or trying to get a live recording being done in London.
Yeah.
Probably the weekend of the 6th, 7th December.
Yeah.
And we'll be announcing details very soon in the next few days. We would love it if any of you are listening from in London. We would love to meet up and just make something cool.
Yeah, so this is a PSA to Singaporeans or Singapore listeners, right, in London.
Or non-Singaporeans.
Non-Singaporean listeners also, who want to keep in touch with what 𝗖𝗏𝗏 is doing in London, maybe even have a chance to come by for this live recording.
Yeah.
Keep your ears and eyes peeled. Right?
Yeah.
So the next couple of days.
Why is it so exciting that, this trip is happening?
It's a visit to, the former colonial masters of Singapore.
Paying our respect. Once a year must make a pilgrimage.
No. But every time, I think we have gone to London for work before.
Yeah.
And they were quite interesting periods of our careers as like content creators or social media content creators, right? And every time we've gone there, it's quite profoundly interesting. We learn something about ourselves and what our choice of careers mean for us as well.
Do you remember the last thing you learned about yourself when you were in London?
The last time we went there, I think we went there as like, the YouTube
ambassadors,
creators for change.
Creators for change.
And we actually talked to someone who was, a former terrorist.
Yeah.
And then he actually went to fight for Al-Qaeda. And then later, ISIS, and then later came out and was helping to de-radicalize people in London. And that was a very big basis for a very big TV show that we produced.
That's true. The seed.
1 year or two later. That was a seed. It was born in London,
I was
my
thinking,
friend.
what nonsense you're talking about finding out yourself and all, but that's a very good point.
And how much of that has, been the seminal part of our lives for the last few years, right?
Yeah.
So London is always like a very big chapter. And I feel like this one is like, after 2025, which has been a very interesting year for us, it's a marker as well.
Yeah, and I think it's cool because we've gotten to do work overseas as like Ministry of Funny, YouTube content creators, short form videos, doing very different content. Now we are going there as 𝗖𝗏𝗏.
Yeah.
So it was a goal of ours at the start of the year to do something beyond Singapore, and now it's happening in the final month of the year.
It's happening.
So pretty cool. So hopefully next year we can do more shit like this.
Yeah.
But for now, we'll be there from the 2nd to the 7th, 3rd to the 2nd late night to the 7th.
Yeah. And even if you're not there yourself, if you know of anything or any recommendations of people or places that, but, a Singaporean podcast with a trying to get a global perspective of things, like anything we should do.
Lah, bro. Old chunky, man.
In pounds, I pay in pounds for Old
£4
Chunky.
for curry.
Yeah, I mean, other than those obvious tourist ones, like, is there anything else we should do? Please let us know on Reddit.
Yeah, just message us wherever. And I mean, we will be announcing updates in the next few days. So again, follow us wherever you want to follow. But exciting times.
Yeah.
And we'll be recording on site.
On site, yeah.
Cool.
And
Exciting.
with some guests as well.
Yeah, with some guests.
Who will be quite interesting. Hint. But yeah.
Cool, man.
But yeah, let's jump right into it, man. I mean, talking about international relations, this is what 𝗖𝗏𝗪𝗧 about, right? This exactly is like the epitome of what 𝗖𝗏𝗪𝗧 is.
Yeah, and I mean, it's another topic that was covered in a speech by Lawrence Wong, or rather a conversation by Lawrence Wong at an event where he said something else that was the topic of the podcast at the start of the week, I believe. Last week with Jackie.
Yeah.
When he said something about, the tools that the Singapore government has to combat wealth inequality. But like a week later, another thing he said in that 32-minute fireside chat at a recent Bloomberg event in Singapore has kicked up a storm, not just in Singapore, but actually Singapore much more internationally. It was what he said about the relations between China and Japan. So basically he was asked a question about China and Japan, and he went on to say, we all want stability. That's something in everyone's best interest. And to paraphrase, he was saying, the China-Japan relationship is important, and that he hopes the two countries will find ways to resolve these very complex issues and move forward, which is, the disputes in the Senkaku Islands, amongst other disputes, the history of the Second World War and all the wars that have been fought between China and Japan.
Yeah.
And then he used Southeast Asia as an example, that Southeast Asia has moved past the violent history with Japan. And apparently, survey after survey, Japan is the number one trusted great power in Southeast Asia. So he said, kind of saying that, Southeast Asia got over it and moved forward. Hopefully, China and Japan can do that now.
Yeah.
So, we both listened to the Bloomberg thing. I don't know, it didn't strike me as something that incendiary. When you listened to it, were you like, oh, okay, this shit's gonna blow up?
Full disclosure, I was in Japan last week.
That's true. I was literally
at the center of the storm. Singaporean in Japan.
Oh, yeah, because it was also the week that the Japanese PM made those comments that were...
Exactly. And I think I remarked to you that there were a lot fewer, at least in my expectations, below my expectations, there were fewer Chinese tourists just around the streets of Tokyo. I felt, I heard more of the Singaporean accent than I did the Chinese accent walking around, right?
Yeah.
Which was shocking to me. But it maybe really reflected the sentiment on the ground that a lot of Chinese travelers are cancelling their trips. Apparently 30% are cancelling their trips to Japan.
Yeah.
Which is a huge number if you think about how many Chinese actually go to Japan. So as a tourist, actually it was a pretty positive thing for me in the sense like less crowding and everything but if you ask me about my experience as a Singaporean, reading this, I'll admit I was quite surprised by PM Wong's what he said because there is if you just look at it on the surface, there's a very strong element of let's forget the past and move on already, right? Generations. He literally said generations past already, right? So it is quite a strong statement to make, considering the history of the conflict between China and Japan, right? But for you felt like nothing, just people being glass hearts and sensitive.
No. Now, okay, like looking at it, I can kind of understand why there is backlash. This is another country's history, and every country has a right to their own history. But I would say it's one of those comments, and wouldn't say it's surprising that there's such a reaction, because we've seen how supporters of the CCP and China in general can be very, very, how you say, ready to jump on anyone who criticizes them. But I would say at a dialogue for him to say that, on its surface, I didn't think it's incendiary. Like it didn't register to me that, oh shit, this is going to blow up. But now looking back, okay, you can sort of maybe think like, okay, like this could rub people the wrong way.
Yeah. And I think for me, I was surprised because PM Wong, he's been on a tear recently. He's been giving like a lot of interviews with Bloomberg and the Financial Times and all that have been very, very well received by the international community. But this one is like he waded into a minefield, right? This China-Japan thing is literally causing these tensions between the countries that we haven't seen at such a level in a while, right?
As in what he said is causing more tensions.
As in what's going on between China and Japan and literally costing businesses and the economy. I mean, the currency was plunging as well because of this as well, right?
Yeah.
So I think I would have expected him to maybe be a bit more conservative or careful about what you're saying, because you're dealing with really, really raw emotions here when you're talking about China's relationship with Japan. And I felt it a little bit myself. And as in, I felt at certain points, I did something in Japan that made me feel a little bit like, uncomfortable about, how Japan also views its own history. The lens through which Japanese also view their own history during World War II. And this was quite interesting because I never knew this place existed, but I visited what they call an air park in Japan. It's actually a museum next to, I believe it was in Hamamatsu. It was a museum, an air museum that was right next to an actual military air base. So the Japanese Air Self-Defense Forces, they set up a museum that celebrates the history of aviation in Japan. But it is literally a Japan Air Self-Defense Force museum, right? So I walked through it, and this is as a Singaporean person who also knows about the history of the World War II and how painful it was not for our generations, but older generations in Singapore. I walked through it and I realized that, they only really talk about the history of the Air Force starting from 1950. So everything else before that, is almost like there's almost no mention of it, right? And literally you walk from left to right, the timeline, the charts, it just says 1950, and then they start showing you everything. But anyone who studied history, about the Japanese Air Force, the Zeros or whatever they called it. I can't remember.
Kamikaze.
Yeah, the kamikaze pilots and all that. So famous, so infamous, right, during the war. But it's almost like, cannot be mentioned, don't talk about it kind of thing. When I walked through that museum, and the fact that the Air Force is literally called Self-Defense Force, right? It tells you that all these things are still very raw and very touchy. Even for the Japanese, they themselves know that this issue can be quite touchy. So even when I was walking around the gift store in the museum, I was looking to see, is there memorabilia of the Japanese imperial flag and everything? And actually there was, but only really one or two little places. And there was one relic of those flying Zeros, the planes that they used during the war, but they did not celebrate it look at what it did. I mean, they just said that this was a relic that was dug up at a certain time and all. So it wasn't celebrated in that way. But even then, for me, as a Singaporean walking through, I was like, wow, this is it's so interesting to see how even the Japanese themselves have to tiptoe around this issue, right? That they, the whole demilitarization of Japan after the war and everything. This is something they have to be very careful about how they're expressing it to the world. So it just reminded me that, hey, this is still a very touchy issue for both those countries, Japan and China. And for Singapore, our new prime minister who also was born after independence and everything, definitely did not experience
after the war.
To wade in and say almost to the tune of we got to move on. It can be taken really badly by either one of those two countries.
Wow, well, like a true correspondent. Now you weren't on holiday, Terence. No. You were deployed.
I tell you, I'm a student of history, man. I'm a student of history.
I wanted to ask you something else also that would make you sound very historical, but now I'm thinking you seem like you're getting too big-headed. No, I was going to say that I also know that you have gone to historical like war relics in Europe.
Yeah, I have.
So what's the difference of how that's seen there?
It's also very, very touchy. Like, for example, you want to go to Hitler's bunker, where he supposedly committed suicide, right? And then right before the end of the war and everything, it's almost impossible to find the exact site like itself. I've been told, and I actually tried to look for it. I was told that there was a plaque somewhere that just not even commemorated, but just sort of just mentions that this is the site where Hitler's bunker and shot himself, and there's nothing around it that celebrates anything about the war, because they are cognizant that there are people who still feel like, that maybe neo-Nazis or what, who would go to that site and worship Hitler or anything and lay flowers and all that, and they want to avoid that kind of hero worship of a very, very, very divisive figure in the history, right? So they do take great pains to really tiptoe around these things. And I'm saying it from Germany's perspective. And what I saw in Japan was Japan's perspective. And I think if anyone who goes to China and you go to Nanjing, where the rape of Nanking happened, over there you also see all the atrocities that were committed. And you really see it from their perspective. So everyone involved in it has to be very, very careful about this whole thing. So I was quite surprised that that PM Wong would make these comments on such a charged issue at such a time as well, right? When the wound is still so raw.
Yeah, and that wound is what the PM of Japan said, the 𝘖𝗍𝗪. So what she said was, I think 2 weeks ago, when she was asked by an opposition lawmaker in Parliament on November 7th, or so 3 weeks ago, about survival-threatening situations, which is a legal term that allows Japan's premiers to deploy the self-defense forces. She gave an example, something along the lines of any attempt to bring Taiwan completely under the control of Beijing using battleships and military force could constitute such a situation. So what she's saying, if that China ever were to, take aggressive force to capture Taiwan, it would be a survival-threatening situation, which means that Japan can deploy some forces. And I think that was the thing that set off the triggers. And you see a lot of CCP and Chinese politicians and foreign ministers all making a lot of statements. And like PM Wong did say this at an exceptionally tense time. Because it was a few weeks later, right? So maybe he's just trying to put some positive thoughts out there, Terence. What's wrong with that? Shouldn't we? I mean, yes, he's a different generation. I don't think he doesn't understand the context of like the history and all. If it's a message that is saying that, okay, like, we all want stability, even those countries themselves. We all kind of like, he hopes that good things can happen.
Yeah. I mean, that message is not wrong. That we want stability in the region. We hope that everyone can work together. I think the part that maybe has rubbed a lot of people in the wrong way, and you see on social media, on the Chinese social media,
even on the CNA YouTube videos,
you see actually I think people are taking umbrage at the part where he's sort of saying like, let's move on. I think that's the part that people, it seems to, because it kind of paints China in like China's stuck in the past, in the history, can't move on with things, right? But the truth is, Japan itself also has a role to play in making China feel that way, right? In the sense that a lot of people feel that Japan has never really fully confronted its past and what the atrocities are, and there are still so many disputes on how many people died in whether it's 𝗲𝗏𝗏 massacre or even the rape of Nanking and everything. There are all these disputes, and they come from apologists especially in the Japan side, right? So there is still a lot of people who feel that Japan has not fully reckoned with its past, and to hear someone just tell you, that was in the past, just move on. It can feel very almost dismissive of everything that that their ancestors went through, their older generations went through, and what is being done to try and rectify the situation now, right? And to say that it's just because for practical reasons, that's what needs to be done. And it's not even the Japanese. I think like a year ago, there was a Straits Times article, I still can't bring myself to eat Japanese food, how World War II shaped the eating habits of a generation. And they talk about Singaporeans who went through the 𝗲𝗏𝗏 massacre, went through the World War, who up till today, they can't understand why their grandchildren would eat sushi, would love to go to Japan.
Why 700,000 Singaporeans every year,
like myself, will watch anime and do all these things, you see? Like, there are people who are traumatized, generationally traumatized by this. And it's not just telling people in China to move on. In some way, you're just telling this person. Imagine you go to this uncle who cannot deal with like the trauma of that past and just say, you need to move on. It does come across as insensitive.
It's like if you have a friend or relative or someone who you feel was a complete asshole in the past.
Yeah.
And someone from another family saying, yeah, my family, everyone got over their past, and I think you should also lah.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a stable family. Yeah lah, it can be a bit like, hey, shut up lah. Okay, you don't know the context lah.
You're correct. Yeah.
I think to me the more worrying thing, because hopefully this thing will blow over in the sense that there won't be sanctions on Singapore and all that. Maybe it might change the opinions of certain pro-China people about Lawrence Wong, because a lot of people saying, Lee Hsien Loong picked wrongly and all this kind of stuff. But the scary thing is, I think this is going to be the way forward, where more and more countries are going to be on edge. More and more countries are going to be militarized. Because in the survey, I think like 40+% would support action by Japan to defend Taiwan if it's attacked by China. 40+% won't support.
Yeah.
But 60% of Japanese people support the new PM's efforts to increase spending on the military.
Yeah.
And if you look everywhere, a lot of parts of Europe, with the US pulling out from NATO and all, a lot of them are devoting more and more budgets to remilitarizing. Even Germany. For Germany to remilitarize is like a fucking insane thing lah. And they are all increasing their budget. So it feels like this whole wave of like, maybe Lawrence Wong is like too kumbaya lah. Let's all move on and all.
Yeah.
I would like that to be the case. I think as a message is good. The way he said it, maybe it's one of those things that as PM, he hasn't really said something along these lines ever lah. Right. I think Singapore has been caught in other spats in the past.
Yeah.
Right. But this one, maybe it's for him, it's like, okay, got to be careful. But I think the scary thing is that I think this is the way it's going to be going forward. A lot of countries are going to be more, we need to shore up our defense because everyone's tense.
Yeah. And everyone will jump on the fact that he's like the freshly minted Prime Minister of Singapore.
He just had getting cocky, all his interviews come out.
Yeah. And the other part of it that I felt also was like, I was quite surprised is that, he kind of took a stance like, we in Southeast Asia, we moved on. So for me, in general, anytime anyone claims to speak on behalf of other people or a larger population, I tend to, let's take that with a pinch of salt, or let's examine it a bit more closely. Because I do recall there was one time I was actually traveling in Cambodia, and I was helping somebody create some content for a non-profit or something. And even, in Cambodia, like the Khmer Rouge and everything that went on with the 70s and all, right? Like I was like, interviewing this person, I was just like being my typical Singaporean self, like, just talking quite loudly and everything. And the person being interviewed was like, Terrence, you got to, like, don't talk so loudly about this, because you're talking about Khmer Rouge, or that there are people here who still are traumatized by these things, and you can't like just be so openly just like talking about it, because it will, you're going to invite a lot of scrutiny and a lot of these things. That was, to me, I was like shocked lah, because I thought I was here to help charity and do good things and all that. So why would you care so much about what I just say, right? But the truth is, there are people who are generationally traumatized by events in their country that we in Singapore, thankfully, especially the post-65 generation, we in Singapore have never experienced and will never have to go through that, right? And in that sense, we live in this bubble where we feel like, everyone, we decided to put aside all our differences and live practically, and one Singapore, and we work together and trade, free trade and everything will save everyone. But there are people who have gone through a lot worse political crises in their lives that led to deaths of family, death of genocide, essentially, right? And we can't claim to speak for them to just say, hey, you should just take the practical route and move on from the past, right? How would that be? How would they take that, right? If it came from a Singaporean who has not experienced that before, right? And that's why I also felt like, wow, maybe in that sense, it can really be seen as insensitive to say what he said.
But then when people tell you, hey, Terrence, you better don't talk about politics in Singapore, because people can get very sensitive about this. Then you still talk so much.
Yeah, but we do it. I think we try to do it responsibly. And admittedly, when I was doing that in in Cambodia, I don't think I was doing it responsibly. Right?
And plus, we are Singaporean talking about Singaporean issues.
Exactly.
Yeah, if a foreigner come talk about Singapore politics, we're like, hey, you too quiet.
Correct, yeah. So I mean, this is a Singaporean talking about a spat between China and Japan about Taiwan. Yeah. So, like, exactly, it's like a foreigner, like, suddenly come and say to you, hey, you should just try and move on from this. Like, see, we all here, we all move on already. You all haven't moved on yet, like, you know?
Yeah, the comparison can be annoying.
Yeah. And really what the Chinese went through under Japan, all that, even then, like, comparing to what Singapore went through under Japan there are levels
it's
to
tough
it.
To compare, right?
It's tough to compare. I mean, damn shitty for Singaporeans as evidenced by some of the trauma that older people have gone through. And I would never be able to go to an older Singaporean and say, yeah, you all should just move on and just eat some sushi.
You try this sushi, damn shiok.
Sushi roll.
The matcha also. Fucking matcha, damn shiok.
Love it, man. Let me show you some sushi train restaurant. I would never put myself in a position where I would just telling the person, just move on.
Yeah. I mean that's true. And I mean, this one, like, I'm surprised by the reaction even on CNA videos and like any Facebook post mentioning it. Of course, 𝗂𝗵 from PPP has chimed in and scolding Lawrence Wong, but it's also that's opportunistic, lah. I guess it's one of those things that in peacetime already it could rile feathers up. But now after PM 𝗙𝗪𝗪 said that, it's tense. It's tense.
Yeah.
And that is scary, lah. Because that whole, just doing research about this whole thing, I realized that there is a stretch of islands of like 1,200 kilometers between Taiwan and Japan. And that becomes a ground for some military tests by China. There are like 55,000 American citizen troops on Okinawa. So, this whole thing, it's scary. Scary.
And there's a lot of nuance in the relationship between Taiwan and Japan. Actually, culturally, they share a lot of similarities, right? And there are a lot of Taiwanese who actually learn Japanese and want to, travel and work there as well. And Japanese, in some ways, they see Taiwan as like a much closer neighbor than we would think, right? Most people would say, Taiwan is, we believe in one China, Taiwan is part of China and everything. But culturally, you actually would find a lot more similarities between Japan and Taiwan than you think. So there's a lot of nuance to it. And even this new Japanese Prime Minister, there's a lot of nuance to what Japanese think of her as well. So I don't think she represents what all Japanese think about politics or about Chinese people or about Taiwan itself. But that's why I say that it was really a minefield. And in some sense, Lawrence Wong coming in sort of just applying the Southeast Asia or the Singaporean lens on like, hey, we should just hold hands and move on. It can come across as insensitive.
I mean, like the PM 𝗙𝗪𝗪 is like kind of like a lot of borrowing a lot of pages from the Trump book, very protectionist, very anti-immigrant, very military first. So, and
there was a whole thing about her, like she schedules meetings at 3 a.m. apparently.
Is it?
And
I know she sleeps like 2 to 4 hours a night.
But she scheduled a meeting for her staff at 3 a.m. And people are saying like, what kind of work-life balance are you encouraging in a place like Japan where people are literally dying from work?
But she gave a speech recently saying, I don't believe in work-life balance.
Exactly.
And everybody who works for the government must work like 2 to 4 hours to sleep at night.
It's crazy. So that's why I'm like, Japanese, she's not universally loved by everyone in Japan either, right? So,
she schedules at 3
so I'm like, wow, I don't know. If you told me that, Lawrence Wong schedules meetings at 3 a.m., then all that talk about like mental health and like taking care of our workers and all that is like
she sleeps for 2 to 4 hours if she's lucky. Oh my God, 3 a.m.
So there's a lot going on in Japanese politics now that is very nuanced and very interesting. But that's where wading into it, like, wow, like Lawrence Wong did, I'm like, whoa, there's a big gamble to take also.
3 what the fuck? Oh my God. But like I think this kind of thing is going to happen more and more. So, I mean, the China-Japan tension doesn't seem to be slowing down. I think that at the end of year Japanese New Year show, Korean pop band was there's the petition to get them, like it got like 70 to 80,000 signatures, get them off because one of their members has Chinese heritage. Holy shit. So it's both ways, man.
Goes both ways.
And then you are there in Japan. Empty. Woo! Woo!
But that's it. That air-based museum really is quite amazing to visit, I would say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're ever in the region, 𝗲𝗵𝗏𝗧, do check it out.
Yeah, last time I used to travel, I would go for more of the nature formations, not history. But I think over the years, I've gotten a lot more interested in history. But yeah, I like museums. I like museums a lot.
Yeah. Harish and I just saw something shocking. Now, apparently, over 60% of viewers of this channel are not even officially subscribed. This has to be a mistake, right? We know you're out there because so many have come up to tell us how much the podcast means to them. So, how can we fix this? Do us a big favor and hit that subscribe button. It will mean a lot to us, and it's awesome to know that the 𝗖𝗵𝗏 community is only getting stronger every day. Thanks for listening.
Cool, man.
Cool. Aside from like the territorial disputes in the region, there are also disputes about decisions being made in our HDB estates, right? That are getting people very riled up as well. What is this dispute?
It is just for 2 out of 29 blocks, I believe, in Tiong Bahru that were built in 1949, close to the post-war era, that did not pass the 75% threshold in terms of votes from the residents to implement the home improvement program, which is a program offered by HDB to do renewal works and repatching and some upgrading.
Yeah.
So basically, 2 blocks were among the 29 in Tiong Bahru that voted earlier in November whether to carry or not the HIP improvements. 27 blocks were successful, getting the 75% threshold, but for these, at Block 35, there was only 1 yes vote that was needed to pass the 75% threshold.
Yeah.
And for the Block 34, 2 more votes were needed to pass the threshold. So, how familiar are you with the HIP thing?
Not very familiar. Just only been reading it because of this.
Yeah, so I think the one thing I saw online, especially Reddit, is people were saying, why would people not vote for the HIP? Because you look at some of the pictures, the pipe and all is them chala. So I think there's a variety of HIP works could be done. One is like replacing the pipes. One is installing senior-friendly handles. One is like redoing the bathroom as well. So in the family home that I grew up in Tampines, we did undergo the HIP for the bathrooms. But I think before we sign up, we were like, okay, this is a great thing, new toilets, new tilings, and can put the senior-friendly thing. But the construction, right? Holy shit, man! I think for 1 week, we had to live somewhere else.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because there's so much dust. You have to cover everything, and the amount of dust. And even if you want to be there, you can't pee at home. You have to go to the porta potty at the void deck.
Miserable.
Yeah, for that 1 week or even 2 weeks. Same thing with my wife's family. They just rented like a budget hotel for like a couple of weeks to stay because at home, even though they're doing just the bathroom, the amount of dust, you can't live there.
And was it like fully subsidized or was it like...
I think it was fully subsidized.
Fully, okay.
Yeah, so it's after that the bathrooms and all new, the pipes and all new. Okay it's quite cool.
Yeah.
But I think what I realized, is actually you need to be able to leave the house and spend time elsewhere and understand that, okay, whatever you want to get out of it needs to be worth the cost. The thing about Tiong Bahru, even when we filmed there during GE 2025, there's a lot of rental units.
Yeah.
And it's still hot properties, so there are new owners who are doing their own renovations. So I think, it's very easy to vilify the people who vote against it. But I think...
there are valid reasons. Right?
Valid reasons. Valid reasons. Because especially, I think, even either on Reddit or an article, they pointed out that some of the residents are damn old.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
So leaky tap that, got some mold and shit versus being able to move out. Because they can't live in the house while the renovation is being done.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think so. So, but 29, 27 other blocks achieved it. So,
But there is apparently there's cost sharing.
There's cost sharing,
but
it's very subsidized.
Very small, like 5% to 12.5% max.
Yeah, very subsidized. It makes sense to have like some skin in the game.
Yeah. But I guess the part that I wasn't very sure, but they're not going to install new lifts or anything under something like that, right? It's just more the cosmetic. Not say
within the house.
Within the house. They're not going to install like new elevator shaft or what. Because I think the Tiong Bahru flats, if they could have elevator
Wow,
shafts,
that would be-
the property prices would shoot through the roof, man.
Shoot. Shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, now anyone with like multiple kids and like stuff, right, or old people, right, you won't live there.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, even like even if you really want to enjoy life, right, just having to haul furniture up 3 flights of stairs is just it's such a painful thing, lah. And
But you don't haul the furniture, you get help.
you get help.
How
lah,
often
but
you haul furniture up?
then you got to pay extra for the people to carry it up
One-time
3
cost. Like, if
floors.
you can afford like a place in Tiong Bahru,
True.
because they don't come cheap.
True. But I mean, we've all been in that situation, like after a long day at work or exercise or what, then you still got flights of stairs to go up. Like,
Or you come down and you forget your something.
you go up again.
Oh,
So I would totally, if I would imagine if there was they were adding lifts, then 100% like probably everyone would want it. But if it's just the toilet or something like that, then it'd be like whatever. Too much inconvenience.
This is more like repair spalling concrete, structural cracks, replace waste soil discharge tags, replace pipe sockets. I think the lifting, that one, I don't know whether you need to vote for that, but that one, I would imagine that it would be a lot more unanimous because all the construction is done outside the house. So as long as you close your doors and all, that also happened to where I was staying in Tampines last time. They added a new stack of lifts. And it was great.
So I got a friend who's the thing their block also, they're just adding lifts to a particular section of the blocks. And they're all so happy and waiting for it to happen. They're willing to live with any kind of inconvenience now because it's going to make their life so much better.
Or, you're adding the utility room at whatever, you get another room. That's epic.
But then this Pritam Singh went on social media and based on these results in Tiong Bahru, made a plea right, to tell people to go and vote right, because he thinks that it is I think he basically said that the HIP is a heavily taxpayer subsidized upgrading program that only comes every 30 to 35 years. So essentially saying that you should want it if you get a chance to have it. And because of what happened in Tiong Bahru, it's a reminder that if you want it, please make sure that you vote for it, right?
And I mean, like what he pointed out is that you can still opt out works that are not essential. So I think what you vote for is like, yes, it's going to be happening, and then you can choose, because the scope right on the website, you can choose the optional improvements package to upgrade existing toilets. So if you don't want to upgrade the toilets, you can. If you don't want a new entrance door, you don't want new grill date, you don't want new refuse hopper, you can opt out. So, maybe, and that's why if you read the article, a lot of people were almost canvassing and lobbying their neighbors, but they said, some people are not home, some units are not tenanted out, can't get in touch with the owner. That's why there's no vote. So, I would think even though when we did it, we wanted the toilet upgrade, so that's why there was so much construction, but you can opt out. So maybe it's lack of information. Like 27 blocks got it. But I think reading the article is very easy to shit on the people who don't vote yes.
But also understanding that they might have their own reasons as such.
Or maybe they might not understand it enough.
And they don't want to change fundamentally the charm of the Tiong Bahru flat, right? So
with a lift.
With a lift or even just anything, right? The facade of it now, maybe they're all about preserving how it looks.
No, and also the senior grills, the handles, right? Yes, I mean it's good purpose. But I tell you, my mom, right, she go and dig everywhere you can put a handle. There's a handle. So coming out of the toilet, you sit down, thinking dumb, there's one handle in front of you on the left and right. There's just handles everywhere. Then my mom was like, they're doing it so we put all. I'm like, you could have been a bit more strategic. It looked damn like handles. You can just, if you use your hands and walk, you don't even need to touch the floor. So I think you can go overboard and it becomes very unsightly.
Also, you can actually choose to have more handles than really?
I think they'll tell you can put here, you can put here. My mom said put everywhere. And I was like, just handles everywhere. So I mean, but again, this is all within the house. So the aesthetic of Tiong Bahru should still be maintained. But if they put a lift, that is something that really the property value would boom.
But I guess Pritam has a point that even if you don't want to really install everything, just vote yes, because that will ensure that your neighbor upstairs has, if they have any drainage issues, it won't it can be nipped in the bud now, right? Then, then in the later part in the future. Lah.
And I mean, yeah, the cost is not like $10, $20. I mean, it's like it can be up to like a few hundred, maybe 1K. But the things you're getting is really like 90% subsidized, 95% subsidized.
Yeah, correct.
And that's something you won't get in private property, lah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know how often this happens also. Yeah.
He said every 30 to 35 years, right, Pritam? That's what he said. Yeah. So it's a tough situation for those Tiong Bahru blocks, lah.
Yeah, man, for those 2 blocks, wow. And then all the other blocks are like, hey, bro, your HIP when, bro? I'm like, sorry, don't have. Don't have, lah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's our news for today.
Yeah, man.
But what is your one Shiok comment of this?
My one Shiok comment is let me pull it
I don't know
up.
whether yours might be the same, lah, but I think it's worth addressing.
You can go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Basically, I think on the last episode of 𝗖𝗵𝗶 right? We talked about Gavin Lee and as well as the Miss Universe contest, the Miss Universe fiasco that is happening. Someone online did say 𝗬𝗵𝗟 𝗬𝗵𝗟, I can't remember what. To be honest, Terence sounding misogynistic this episode. Would love for you guys to interview a pageant contestant so you can speak directly to her to see exactly what goes into a competition like that. So yeah.
So Terence, yes, Mr. Misogyny.
Is people saying I'm sounding misogynistic because I'm saying that the Miss Universe is irrelevant?
No.
So having Miss Universe is the best thing we can do to support women. Is that what it is?
It's just you saying stuff like it's like a children's talent time, you know. Like why do even people
But I mean that whether it's Manhunt or Miss Universe or Mr. Universe for that matter. Right, I mean it that way. It's not just about women or.
Yeah, but that's like when someone says something, but I mean that for all races. You know, like.
So I said that on the podcast.
I know.
I said that men or women, I think beauty pageants are irrelevant, and in fact, I think it's misogynistic to have some of these beauty pageants.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember what exactly you said that made me go like, you listen to Lawrence Wong, you're like, okay lah, I can see. But as you were saying stuff, I'm like, Terence, I don't know what, in Japan suddenly your machismo all come out, right? And you come back and some even people say you were mean to me or...
Me too. I don't get that at all.
I don't know, something about the water or the sushi in Japan, you came back, maybe you haven't speak for 1 week, you're like, oh, I need to fucking exert my authority.
No, I think that's more a statement that the week when I was away, you were just...
I went soft, is it?
No, it was you were the lightweights in the seat opposite you, is it? So it's not about you.
Now you're not just misogynistic, you're being an asshole to Andy and Jackie. Hey, Andy, Jackie, if you're listening, Terence called you lightweights. Lightweights, no.
No, but I felt not qualified, but yeah, we did do a Tell You First episode about Miss Universe pageants.
Yeah.
So I did really try to do as much research and my homework into pageants and why they are irrelevant in this day and age. So I found this comment quite interesting to say that, hey, it's misogynistic to attack the Miss Universe pageant, when actually I think the Miss Universe pageant itself is, it can be seen as a step back for feminism.
Yeah, so I'm not so sure what exactly she was saying is misogynistic, but the second part, would love for you guys to interview a pageant contestant so you can speak directly to her to see exactly what goes into a competition like that. That's basically in response to you saying, the pageant is like belittling their effort, which is what I said on the podcast also. You sound like you're belittling their effort. You can disagree with the pageant, but at the end of the day, people put in time and effort to go in. So, yeah, so...
Point taken.
Yeah, point taken. And this one is not an account I created. Okay, it's not an account I created. I
You
bet
never
you
know,
check.
you never know.
I also bet you check.
You never know.
So my one Shiok comment was from Reddit for the same episode, also from available_@9766. First, I mean, they talked about the meritocracy argument for Gavin Lee, and they shared different aspects of the meritocratic argument, the angle on experience, There is the need to realize that there's a good chance we won't do well results-wise. But the most important thing is that the team grows together and builds on successful qualification and not gamble on a supposed bigger name and more experienced coach such a false hope, as it would help us avoid the potential bad results. So I mean, quite measured. And also the first response was, first paragraph was obstacle by 𝗬𝗫𝗲 lament that his daughter was sleeping later and causing him to miss watching the game against Hong Kong. As a father myself, I'm here to tell him he ain't seen nothing yet. Pritam will get later as they grow, and the ever-reliable nap time as a pocket of downtime for parents will in most cases be gone, as older kids don't seem to need it. Yep. I guess it's true lah. The bedtime get later and later. I guess depending on how militant parents can be about bedtime also lah.
How militant, but the infant bit, or like the very, very young toddler, or almost infant kind of bedtime, it's a very different animal from like an older toddler kind of bedtime lah, where I feel it gets easier lah. It gets more fun. It gets more. They really are. They understand. Not say they understand, but there's a whole ritual to it. And it's a chance for them to wind down and all that. So I feel everything moves a little bit and all, but maybe there's just a more tacit understanding between parent and child that you need this, you need to sleep.
And I guess also, correct me if I'm wrong, but routine lah, right?
Yeah, routine.
Because like up till now, we've been seeing if our daughter needs to sleep, like naturally wake up in the morning and all. But now she's waking up like 9:30. And then she's sleeping at 10. Then like for my wife and I, our work also, we're like, hey, we need to like feed you your food and all. You just wake up or not.
So the predictability makes things easier lah.
As in having some sort of routine lah. So now we are trying to wake up early and like hopefully she starts to sleep early. Oh, she's ready to party at night.
Actually, I think it does get better. So I mean, I think this commenter is sort of saying like, your child, depending on your child also lah, right? They could be a party animal, it stays up late and all. But that's where you have to try to work around that.
But Terence, issues of people with their kids, I don't think you should wade in and say, oh yeah, my kid like that, so you also should move past it.
So I would say that his is one perspective. I'm just giving the devil's advocate perspective because I have a slightly different perspective. So I've been very careful about it. I didn't say that I'm the authority on parenting. In fact, there's parenting is one area where I feel like
no one has authority.
No one, like no influencer, no one can tell you definitely that this is the way to do things.
But yeah, cool. And what about your One Shiok Thing, man?
Since we're on that topic, I've recently watched this video by this, I believe he's like American, but this American in Japan who teaches Japanese. He's like, he's an English or teacher, or I think English teacher or Japanese teacher. I'm not very sure, in Japan. So he's this channel called 𝗏𝗏. And he did a video recently. I mean, he does very interesting content about, expats living in Japan or, foreigners living in Japan. He did a very interesting video recently called, what's it called? So, on the rise of anti-foreigner sentiment in Japan by 𝗏𝗏. So he actually talks about, the people saying that, now Japan has voted in more far-right politicians into their parliament and all. Does that mean that there's really strong anti-foreigner sentiment? And I think he gives some evidence that actually maybe this anti-foreigner sentiment is being overstated by the media and by everyone. And that if you really look at, the proportion of people that the far-right parties actually have in parliament, plus, what people actually are saying about foreigners in Japan, because the language is different, right? You might get a more nuanced picture of it, that Japan might not. There aren't these like strong anti-foreigner sentiments just taking over the whole country or anything.
I guess the media always will blow up stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, just one point is just said that far-right parties, they doubled their representation in parliament, or doubled or tripled, but it went from like 2 to 6 or something like that, out of like 200 plus. So it's not, it's significant for the party, but it's still a drop in the wider picture, right? So there's just, I thought that was an interesting perspective. Important for me, especially before I went to Japan to watch this, and just like not jump in the whole, the way the person looked at me, Japanese don't like Singaporeans, or Japanese don't like Chinese, that kind of thing.
I mean, the interesting thing, what I'm excited about is now we've been hearing a lot about the climate in the UK, right? In London. like
Climate as in the...
not the weather.
Oh,
the
weather
political climate.
Oh, political climate.
You know, the racial discrimination.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm curious to see how it is actually on the ground.
Social experiment.
Social experiment. Like what? You abusing me?
No, you just walking around and maybe do pickup lines and see how people react.
Okay, please. We won't do any 𝗖𝗏𝗏 videos after that. Walao, cancel to the max. Yeah. Cool. My One Shiok Thing is another content creator on Instagram that I found that does these videos where he takes AI videos and teaches you how to spot AI videos.
Okay.
Which is damn useful. So it's a show tools AI, sorting out AI videos for creators and regular people. And he's grown so fast that he's actually triggered people who create all these AI-based channels and get money off YouTube. Because he literally shows certain people that are blowing up YouTube and shows how easy it is to create a fake avatar, to create like a cat video fighting with another cat. And it's very, very informative. And he does it in quite a nice way. And I think it's important knowledge for everyone, man. Yeah. Because I mean, I don't know whether I told you, like a few weeks ago, like in my family WhatsApp group, one of my uncles sent a video of horses running free in Dubai. And standing in the group because we got some family in Dubai. They're like, oh my God, are you all okay? The horses, then slowly people were pointing out, okay, this is probably AI. But it was believable enough that for amongst people who maybe don't spend as much time on the internet or believe a lot of what they see on the internet, these kind of things are damn dangerous. So he goes into even the tail of a cat. You know, you see it's straight one way and curled a bit. Chances are that's a sign of AI, and then helps you spot it. So very useful info. I think he's blowing up, man. He's blowing up.
Wow.
Cool. All right. So that's all for today's episode. Remember, if you enjoyed the podcast, please tell at least one other person. Follow us on social media. We're on TikTok and Instagram with shorter extracts, on Reddit and Telegram, where we have a very bustling community. And we have a weekly newsletter that consolidates all our One Shiok Things, so you don't need to worry about going back to the episode to find them. It's called Your Little Bit, and you can sign up for it at 𝗖𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
And if you want to work with us, email us at contact@ministryoffunny.com or just contact us form on ministryoffunny.com.
All right. Thanks everyone, and we'll talk to you all soon.